Hello guys, welcome to the Lion and the Lamb. If you notice, we changed the name of the channel, so I feel that this name will suit the channel better. So I have my notes with me, so every now and then I'll be looking down to peep on my notes just to be able to remain on course for what we have for this video. So we're going to be having a series of videos in respect to this topic, which is the metaphysics and the physical. Our header for today is on the kingdom of light and the kingdom of darkness, or you can say the heavenly kingdom and the kingdom of darkness. So we're going to talk about how the spiritual realm affects the physical realm and vice versa. We're going to explain on how evil spirit gain access into our lives and how they gain authority into our affairs. So this is we're going to expose a lot of things. We're going to expose a lot of information, so that I will try as much as possible to explain it as well as I can, so that people may understand. If you're not a Christian, you're also welcome to chime in. I also want you guys to send me messages on the comments if you feel that there's something you want an explanation on, or you want to gain more insight on. So let's continue. There are two kingdoms. You have the kingdom of darkness and we have the kingdom of light. And these kingdoms are ruled, they are ruled by their lords. And this is in no way comparing God with the devil. Nah, there's no comparison, not in power or anything, because God created the devil, right? But I'm just trying to explain, I'm getting to a place that which you will understand at the end of the video. Now, there's what we call principle. This kingdom live by a particular set of principle. And this principle is like a law that governs the kingdom. So the spiritual realm, right? The spiritual realm have these two kingdoms, the kingdom of light and the kingdom of darkness. And every spirit actually belong to one, because you cannot be in the middle. You belong to one irrespective, right? You belong to one of the kingdom. And what determines your place in these kingdoms is the law, is the principle in which you operate by, the principle in which you live your life by. So this principle actually is based on the personality of the Lord of that particular kingdom. So just to explain things further, so that way we don't get too confused, you have there's what we call principle. Principle is the set of rules in which one live by. Let's say your character, right? Your characteristics. That's how you're defined. So you're defined by the set of rules in which you live your life by. That is how you're known in the spiritual realm. Now, man is spirit, and because of that, we are governed also by the spiritual realm. So although we live on earth, which is the physical realm, where we can see things physically, touch them and act and interact with one another, because we are spiritual beings, we are also governed by the spiritual realm, just like every evil spirit and the angels, right? Evil spirits are also angels, but they are fallen angels, so they just call them evil spirits, right? Because they operate in the kingdom of darkness because of their personality, because of how they act. So we cannot differentiate. We cannot see evil spirit. We cannot see a spirit. But how can we know which spirit in which you're interacting with, right? It's through their personality, right? That is why, if you notice in the Bible, if they want to relate to an evil spirit, like a general term for an evil spirit is principalities and power, right? Because they are in charge of a particular thing, hence why they are called power. And their personality, you understand, determines what kind of spirit they are. For example, the Leviathan spirit, right? The characteristics of a Leviathan spirit is pride. Just like the king of, during the time of Moses, the Pharaoh during the time of Moses was actually governed by Leviathan. Even the Bible called him Leviathan. You understand? That evil spirit that was slain by Yahweh, cut into pieces by Yahweh. I think that is Isaiah 53 or so, either one, 52, 53. So most times the Bible uses your personality to describe who you are. the same thing with evil spirit. Their personality shows who they are. The Jezebel spirit is spirit of perversion, sexual perversion. So when you talk about all sorts of sexual activities, you ascribe that to the spirit of Jezebel. Pornography, the spirit of Jezebel. So this is how we know those evil spirits, through their personality, through their character. So now, in the beginning, when God created man, he said, let us create man in our own image. Man was created to be like God, to have that personality of God, right? To be good, because God is an embodiment of goodness. He is goodness, right? And hence he is the Lord of the heavenly realm, because the heavenly realm is governed by a set of principles that is good. Everything good, right, comes from the heavenly realm. That is the principle that they live by, right? Goodness, that's the principle. So when you're talking about evil, anything that is not good, right, that's just a summary of what, because I can go in depth, but I don't want this video to be too large. So I'm trying as much as possible to summarize what I'm saying. So when you go to the kingdom of darkness, right, everything evil stems from that characteristic, the character of the devil, right? So that is why when one acts right, they say, even Jesus said in the sermon, they say the peacemakers will be called the sons of God, because you don't want people that live their life in a peaceful way, that don't want they don't want people that don't like evil, right? They just want things to be peaceful, right? They are known to be children of God, people that are meek. All those good qualities are subscribed to the heavenly realm. The evil qualities are subscribed to the kingdom of darkness. So not to say that I'm comparing these two realms as being equal. No, they are not. Just like the way you have a country that is being colonized by another country, in the sense that the country rule trumps over the colonized country, right? It's the same way. Just like God is the Lord of the heavens and the earth, because he created the earth, right? He is Lord over all this earth. But in the spiritual realm, right, what I'm just trying to explain it in a way you understand. Even in the spiritual realm, the kingdom of darkness cannot, right, they cannot contend with the kingdom of light, because the kingdom of light, the kingdom is like the trump. They have like a power over the kingdom of darkness, in the sense that the kingdom of darkness don't have. There's a way the Bible explains it. Say the light, like, let me use the explanation of a cave. When you come into a cave with no light, the place is pitch dark. You can't even see your feet, right, because it's dark. That is the kingdom of darkness. That's how dark it is. That's what the power is. It has the power to blind. It has the power to render hopeless, to bring hopelessness. It has the power to bring pitch darkness, right? But when you introduce light into that cave, right, the darkness cannot comprehend the power of that light, because it cannot even hold that light back. The smallest of light will illuminate the place in the way that you can even see your feet, right? That is how powerful the kingdom of heaven is. That is just, I'm just trying to give an analogy that will kind of put your mind to explain how these two kingdoms actually work, right? So it's just like a country that is being colonized by another country. Yes, they have their local laws and all that, right? But when you're talking about a law that governs over that law, you talk about the law of their colonized masters, right? Sorry, some of you might get offended by this term, using the this analogy, but I'm just trying to explain. You get what I'm trying to explain. So that's it. So how do man get influenced by the kingdom of darkness? When God created man, he gave man free will. First of all, I want to explain something. Man is made up of three different set of man. How do I explain? I don't want to use the word category, but man is made up of three different parts. Not really parts, but you understand what man is made up of: the body, Man is made up of the soul, and man is made up of the spirit, right? Now, the body is the physical aspect of man which can exist on earth. Like, is for us to be able to interact with one another, to be able to communicate with one another, right? That is what our physical body helps us to do. But we know that man is not just your physical body. Man is spirit, right? That is the part of us that God is saying when he said, let us create man in our own image. That was the part he's referring to. Because this flesh that we wear is we are in our fallen state. This is our fallen body. There have two different kind of bodies, but I'm going to explain that in another video. I don't want to go off our topic for today, but we are in our fallen state, right? So when God was creating man in his own image, he was referring to man's spirit, because God is spirit, right? And if you're creating something in your own image and likeness, you're creating that thing in what you look like, right? So God is spirit, so man is spirit at the same time. And God is good. He is, is the embodiment of goodness, right? So he wanted us to be like him. Like, we are supposed to be the embodiment of goodness. That's what we are created by. That's how we are created. And that is why in the Garden of Eden, God comes to the garden. I want to use the right term. I know it is Jesus Christ, but I'm going to explain that in another video to tell you that the God that you're referring to was. So God came to the garden to every time to discuss with man, to teach man and all that, right? Then man was oblivious of what evil was, because we've not eaten from the forbidden fruit that we're asked not to eat from. So I'm just going off for a minute, but I'm just trying to explain to you how man is created in the likeness of God, right? So we are a spirit, so and we also have a body. So we have our heavenly body, which we will wear when we die, right? I will explain that later. I don't want you to get confused. But just know that man is fallen after we disobeyed God. We fell, right? We went against the spiritual law. Then we gave up our power over the world, right? We still have power over animals and all that, but over the spiritual realm, like our spiritual state, we gave up the power. So the devil took that from us when we disobeyed God. So because of that, we are in our fallen state, right? So now we're made up of the spirit, the body, and the soul. Now the soul is where your thoughts or your mind is contained, and also your will is contained in the soul. So the battle that what the devil is fighting towards, right, is to take hold of your soul, which is, if he captures the soul, right, automatically he has control of your will, right, and your thoughts. And remember what the Bible said, right, that as a man thinks in his heart, right, what comes out of a man is how his heart is, right? So as you think in your heart is what you act out, right? So as a man thinketh, so he is, right? So as you think is the way you are. So meaning that your soul, right, determines your action. How the nature of your soul determines your action and determines your thought as well. So the devil is after that, because when he gets that, he can lure you into either doing good or doing evil. And either doing good or doing evil will also determine which realm you are operating under. That means which realm you are in. Remember, the fall of Satan, right? The fall of Lucifer. He convinced 1/3 of the angels in heaven to follow him, right? And in response to that, when he fell, right, God made hellfire, not for us, but for Satan and his minions. But the moment you decide that, because you have free will as a man to live your life the way you want to, that is why God gave us free will to choose either him or the devil, to choose where we want to belong to, because we are free-minded human beings. And the reason for the free will, right, is because if God makes us to be a robot, we will not be able to love him. It will not be love. It will be him compelling us to do what he wants us to do, right? So for you to truly show love, you need to do it willingly. And that is why we have we have the fruit of good and evil planted in the middle of the garden. Is for man to be able to exercise his free will to follow God, right? That is the reason for the tree in the first place. So now, when man has decided to follow that principle of Satan, you've decided to live your life in accordance to the principle of the devil, right? You are operating in the kingdom of darkness. So what it means now is that you are living your life, right, in accordance to the principle that Satan is, which is he's an embodiment of evil. So to go further, because I'm trying as much as possible not to go off, so I'll just go through my notes for a minute. So now, when you see people, that's why when you see people in life, they tend to act in a way like with pride and with anger. They are quick to anger. They have pride in their hearts, and you tell them, look, you need to change. You don't need to always be proud. And they tell you, no, look, this is where I am. Just take me the way I am. It's a very evil statement to make. It is wrong. Because you are not actually created to be evil. You're not created to be like that. You're created to be like God. But what happens now, let me explain something. What happens is that you have been tricked by the devil to believe that this is who you are. And that is why you are living your life in that way. And you're comfortable doing that because change is not easy. It comes with discipline, right? And when you are possessed, don't be afraid when I use this word. When you have been embodied by an evil spirit, because some people get afraid when you use possessed. They see it as, but let me use the word embodied. When you've been embodied by an evil spirit, it tends to make you do things that is in line with their personality. I will give you an example. When an evil spirit, we are fallen, right? So we have the tendency of being angry, of being prideful and all that. The tendency is there. We can fall into that distance because we cannot see evil spirits. They are everywhere, right? They have spirit that you cannot see. They are trying to make things happen. They're trying to make people, because they are spirit without body. So in a way, they need to be in a body to be able to operate and work properly on earth, because the law here on earth states that you need a body to be able to communicate properly, to be able to do, to interact with the physical world, enjoy stuff in the physical world. So what those evil spirits are, they are spirits, the disembodied spirits. They do not have body of their own. So what they do is they look for body to inhabit, right? And they do that in a very subtle way because they know man. And you will see yourself acting in some certain ways. You will think it is you that is just doing it, but you don't really know that there's a spirit influencing that character, either by embodying you or by feeding you thoughts in your mind that way you think it is you. Now I will use this passage to explain more. You remember in the New Testament and even in the Old Testament, God said it's only the sheep hears my voice, right? They know the voice of the shepherd. When you come to Christ, those of you that have come to Christ, you will notice this. When you come to Christ, it happened to me earlier. When I came to Christ, I begin to distinguish between my thoughts, the thought of the Holy Spirit, and external thought that is from outside source, evil source. But when you're not in Christ, because of you do not have that connection, your spirit do not have that connection with the source of life, right? Which is in the Lord, in the Holy Spirit. You tend to have this disconnection between the spiritual realm, that you are unable to distinguish what is what in the spiritual realm, because you do not have that spiritual what's the word? You don't have that spiritual sensitivity that you need to be able to hear and understand the spiritual realm. So your consciousness is limited to that of the physical realm. But what is happening in the spiritual realm, you're oblivious about it. So that is why those that come to Christ, they tend to know when the Holy Spirit is speaking to them and when it is an evil spirit that is putting thought in their mind. And most times the way you distinguish between those things is when you know how the personalities, right, of these spirits. You're able to distinguish which is which, right? You know, oh, this is not God, because God don't act this way. He doesn't talk this way, right? Because you know the personality of God, right? And sometimes the devil disguises himself as an angel of light. He would say good things, but there's something underneath that he's trying to gain, right? So as a child of God, you see past through those things. You're able to distinguish voices. So when I came to Christ, I was able to know that it's not every thought that comes into my mind that is my thought. That's why sometimes, if you've noticed, I know if you're truthful to yourself, if you've noticed, there are some times when you, from nowhere, just a thought will just enter your head from nowhere. Even those of you that think of suicidal thought of deleting yourself, most times it's not your thought. It's the devil that is, in short, it's not your thought. It's the devil that is poisoning your mind, putting in those thoughts in your mind. When you think of like you want to kill someone, it is not your thoughts, right? Maybe you're angry to the point that, oh, so the reason, God, I don't know how to explain this. The reason why Christ said that when you hate your neighbor or your brother, that you've killed your brother, right, is because that is how it stems, right? That is from thoughts, right? Of thought of hatred, it will elevate to killing that person. Because when you allow such thoughts in your mind, yeah, when you accept that thought, because you have the will, right, to either accept or to reject those thoughts. So when you accept those thoughts, you're welcoming that spirit into your soul, right? So when you act on that thought, right, it triggers something in the spiritual realm, right? There's a law that is broken in the spiritual realm that gives that evil spirit the right of your soul. So the evil spirit can decide to embody you to possess you. And that is why you see people act certain way and they are unable to change. And even as much as they try to do that with their will, with their power, they are unable, because it's no longer in their control, right? There's the spirit that is making you do those things. The spirit don't need to announce himself. He just need to use you and do what he wants to do, right? He just torments you, use you. That's why you see people, they get drunk, right? To the point that they expose themselves to the spiritual realm, because drunkenness also exposes you to the spiritual realm, because it is sinful to be in a drunken state, because it exposes your mind either by smoking or by drinking to stupor. So when you allow those demons to inhabit you, they tend to use you to do whatever they want to do with you, because they ridicule you, they degrade you. You find yourself drink and fall in a gutter. You understand? All those stuff you do, you find yourself doing some certain things that you cannot stop by yourself. You can't, because you're no longer in control. Your will is no longer, you're no longer in control. You're now under the influence of the demon. That's your handler, right? And that is why I say that if you do not understand that we are men, that man is spirit, that we are spiritual being, and that we are governed by these spiritual laws, and because of most people are oblivious of all these things, they tend to live their life on autopilot. Like, just go, you just live your day. You don't really think about it. You don't really reason about it. You're not even really educated on how this spirit affects your life, or maybe you're too keen in on what you can see is what you believe. You're Thomas. It's only you, when you see it, that you believe that it is real. Most of you don't see electricity. You don't see electricity, but when you touch it, it will electrocute you. It doesn't change the fact that it exists, right? It doesn't change the fact that these things are true, right? We're governed by a spiritual realm. We're governed by a spiritual law. You're either in the kingdom of darkness or in the kingdom of the devil. So when you see someone that has a temper have a quick temper and cannot seem to not be able to stop himself from that, it could be he's being influenced, right? Or someone that is drinking can, like, even addicted people, there's a spirit behind all that. Pornography, the spirit of Jezebel is behind that. You want to stop, but you can't find yourself stopping, I had that problem until I realized what it was. And it was by the grace of God that I'm able to be free from it. Because you cannot do that on your own. You find yourself going back to that thing that you don't want to do. Every time you find yourself going back, doing that same, committing that same sin, that same cycle, right? Is the same thing. So some of you is maybe an evil spirit have laid claim to your lineage through your great grandfather or whatever sin they've committed or whatever pact they've made through their action or knowing or unknowingly. The devil has a claim in your life, right? And that is what he's using to control your affairs. I'll stop with this example. In the book of Job, when devil presented himself to God, and God asked him, where have you been? Where are you coming from? He said, he was just going to and fro in the world looking for, just going to and fro, just like the Bible says, like a royal lion looking for wood to devour. So, and God said, have you considered my servant and Job, for there is none like him? And he said, and what did the devil say? The devil said, that is it not because you give him everything that he asks you to want, that you protect him, right, from us. You protect him. I'm paraphrasing here, I'm not quoting. That you protect him from us, right? You give him everything you ask for. That the moment that you take those things away from him, that he will curse you. And God said, okay, go ahead, but don't touch his soul. God was trying to prove a point. Was trusting that Job, because God knows, he was trusting that Job is faithful. Now, why would the devil say that Job is being protected? Meaning that the devil doesn't have an authority over his affairs. Because Job is not operating in the kingdom of darkness. So the devil does not have an authority. The devil cannot do anything to Job. He needs a permission from God to be able to do something. That is not just a story. That is the reality of what life is. The devil only have an authority in your life if there is something you have done to allow that, or something that you didn't do not to allow that. So those that are in Christ, the devil do not have an authority in your life. When you pass through difficulty in life, God never promised us that we won't face difficulties. He said, just know that during that time that I am there with you. When you pass through difficulty in your life, it is better that you know for sure that you're with God, and everything you're doing, everything that is happening to you is in accordance to his will. That way you know that you are nothing is going to happen to you, that as long as God is with you, that you escape through. Because even when we have all those problems, as long as we are with God, we won't even feel it. We will still have that peace in our hearts. Just like he said that he came to give us peace, not peace like the world think it is, but peace, which is that peace in our heart. That way you're not tormented by evil thoughts. You're not worried about physical things, what you will eat, or what you have or what you don't have. You trust that the Lord knows everything and that he's going to guide you in all that you do. So this is where we'll come to an end of this video. I implore you, if this video touches your heart, please share with others so that they're able to get the information. I'll be explaining further on other things. In next video, I want to move in accordance to how the Lord directs me, whatever topic he employs me to talk about. That's what I'm going to talk about. So I hope that this video helps, and I hope my analogy does a good job to explain some certain things to you. So take care of yourself. Please do not fail to like, because this is how the video gets on top, so that other people will be able to see it in the algorithm, YouTube algorithm. And at the same time, if you have any question, please do not fail to ask me in the comment box below. And I'll be seeing you in the next video. God bless and thank you.